Hey everyone, Jeremy here for Geeks of the Roundtable. With me today is Justin, and it's beta weekend for the Division 2, so we had some time into it, and we are going to get into our thoughts and what we know so far. Coming up. Okay, so we're going to start with what we know so far. The release date for this game is March 15th. It's across all platforms. I think that's pretty good.
I think in the modern market that it is, with cross platforms, everybody has to have it at the same time. You know, an Xbox is just a computer, and basically it's just PlayStation that's trying to get in the hand, right?
So there was some debate over campaign length. The developers kind of chimed in a little bit on the campaign. It's going to be approximately 40 hours, and
I think that's generally what they say with every major title nowadays, though, isn't it? Like 40 hours of campaign,
right?
Thing.
And I'm assuming
it seems like a staple.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that's going to be all of your main story missions, all of your side missions, all of your random quests that you encounter throughout leveling up into endgame. What I'm assuming is that from start to real endgame, you probably get about 40 hours, that's not bad.
I've never really kept track. Obviously, okay, so going back to Division 1, do you think that there was 40 hours of gameplay there?
I'd say in that 30 to 40 range for sure. Obviously, if you're going at this co-op, you've got, you and your three buddies with you, you're going to mow through that content. Like, it was just the two of us for quite a bit of this beta.
True.
And we were having no issues at all leveling up our guys. And I don't think it's going to be much more difficult playing the story in the live game.
I agree.
I agree. It's the tutorial.
So what are you saying, that it's a 40-hour tutorial as to playing the game?
I do. I think that once you hit endgame, you're going to need kind of that culmination of everything you learned in that 40 hours. You're going to have to really focus on what your role on your team is, and I think that's going to be more evident at the beginning of Division 2 than it was at the beginning of Division 1, where it was do whatever you want as long as you're killing stuff.
Right.
The Dark Zone's back.
Yeah, we touched on it just a little bit there. We finally made it to where it was unlocked. We could play it.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to go in there yet. It's hit and miss. I kind of really liked the Dark Zone in the original one. It was intense. It was hard. It was, it's a different whole other area. As compared to the general thing of it gave you a certain area. Yeah, you had to be sneaky. You had to run and duck, get in there, get out.
Yep.
Yes, there was people that grifed you or whatever you want to call it.
Griefing, yeah.
But that's the nature of the beast, right?
The one thing I didn't like in the Division 1 is they really held the high-end loot to the Dark Zone. If you wanted the best gear, you had to go and deal with all that. You had to deal with the campers, you had to deal with the griefing. In the Division 2, it's not the case. It's going to have very good and probably unique gear to the Dark Zone, but you're not going to be capped at a certain level if you don't want to go in there.
So you're saying more of like a cosmetic type?
No, just different specializations probably.
I see.
Different perks on the gear. And eventually that's what they did in the Division 1. They realized that they were losing a lot of players because not every player is a hardcore player, right? So they had to do something in the Division 1 to keep players like myself. And I wasn't a hardcore Division 1 player, and I was not going in there and dealing with that griefing just to be able to go run the newest raid that, I mean, let's face it, at the time we were able to glitch through the wall anyway, so what difference did it make?
Glitches are fun and loving to exploit them, for sure.
So it's the Dark Zone, all bets are off. You're not it's not normalized. So every player's their own level. You got the player versus player versus environment, player versus everything, really. It's your team versus everything else in there.
Yeah.
They do have now specialized PvP, real PvP. They call it Conflict. So there's two modes. There's Skirmish, which is your standard deathmatch, and your Domination, which is your standard point capture. And in PvP, or Conflict mode, all players are normalized.
So they're all at the same level cap, if you will.
The gear rating is the same.
Yeah, so, gear cap, yes. Or gear rating doesn't matter.
Right. So this is where I think you're going to find a lot of people in the division, because it is going to be who is the better player, who has that scuff.
Yes. The scuff, exactly. Coming back to your scuff controller. and who has the skill, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who's got the
Like
skill?
I've said, I suck at aiming. You know what I mean? So it's the way it is.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with the Division having a place where you are catering to your hardcore PvP niche, and it's there. It was there in Division 1. They ended up griefing in the Dark Zone for a while. Now that true PvP came to Division 1, there was far less griefing in the Dark Zone because they had a place to really go. So there's some new skills. The assault drone, the chem launcher, there's Hive, you got your standard turrets and seeker mines. The shield is there.
Oh, that beautiful sniper turret. Yes, that works so well.
I like the drones. I like how there's a lot of drone-based stuff. They really are using that, hey, like this is futurized, modern time to future time, and the tech is there.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely showcasing the tech that the military has the ability of using in the next couple of years. Modern technology and influences that our military has, or in the next couple of years, will have the capability of actually using in real time, like with the drones and everything.
As far as I remember from Division 1, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same. You gotta remember, it's Tom Clancy is backing this game, so I think that everything that's in the Division weapon-wise is already out there. All the weapon types, I mean, they're all real guns. This isn't like laser blaster.
Yes,
from...
the weapon's true, but they don't have any drones that go around and heal them with a tether, right? You know what I mean? That type of idea.
Very, very true.
Or as far as I know, mines that seek. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be awesome, though? You have a drone that just kind of hovers over you, and it's like just shooting you full of, here's some tequila. Just open up and look up. There's your tequila.
Exactly.
Just keep
Tequila.
going. Along with the skills, they kind of reworked how the passives work, where you get to kind of pick. And one of the passives we noticed was you had to pick a passive to actually have 2 skills. So in order to do some modding and stuff like that, you'll have to work your way through the story arc, and that's probably part of the leveling process. And I kind of like that, how you're not going to be, you're going to have to build everything from the bottom up. When you hit level 30, the Division agents will be able to activate one of several specializations. Right at launch, you're going to get a survivalist, a demolitionist, and a sharpshooter. I'm not going to get into the specifics. Year 1 plans.
I was just looking to have a look at that right now, actually, and they're talking about the first episode, DC Outskirt Expeditions, episode 2, The Pentagon, and no details yet about the third and final Division 2 Year 1s.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to know that at the launch of game, they at least are looking forward 1 year. I have no doubt that they plan on running this game at least 5 years. So just like Division 1. So it's great to know that, like, right out of the gate, they have a plan. It seems like a lot of the mistakes they made in Division 1, they've corrected throughout Division 1, and they're able to now just apply it to a more modern game. It's a year 1 pass. So the DLC...
Yeah, they're talking about 7-day early access to episode narrative and instantly unlocking the year 1 specializations, exclusive access to classified assignments, additional bounties and projects that you can do.
Yeah.
And it's good for the entire year, and exclusive cosmetic items, which, hey, that's great, but I don't really care.
Well, their whole pay structure in Division 1 was, it wasn't pay to win. So it was all cosmetic, and people were dropping some cash. They put some pretty neat, one-offs in there. People were buying. What else can I do with that premium money, premium in-game money?
But I'm not spending real-world money on cosmetic wear.
No, and you or I, like, we see the back of our guy, so who cares, right?
Exactly.
Post-launch monetization, they did touch on that. And basically, it's exactly that. You got your season pass or your year 1 pass, and we don't have any details on pricing yet, but I would expect it to be in that $30 to $50 range. Quite a bit of content that they're going to be throwing in there. So a couple.
If they get all 4 episodes, yes, for sure.
And then they just have the in-game apparel store, which is the premium credits that we talked about. So, what's new to this game? The clans. They're introducing in-game clans. So they can have up to 50 accounts per clan, and it's got clan membership ranks, social space in the bases. They've got clan projects, progression. So you work as a clan to build everything up. Specific voice channels for the clan. There's a message feed, so it looks like you're going to have some in-game chat.
Nice.
These are all things that I've been waiting to see in a multiplayer online game since DC Universe, man. Like, why did they not have this in Destiny?
That's a good question. So I don't know. There was the chat aspect of Destiny was very poor.
Yeah, here it is, right there in the Division. If you're into it, they do also have, they're going to continue with that State of the Game live stream. It's, some people like to stay on top of what's going on, and it's nice to see that the devs are still going to be kind of, at least putting their face out there.
Mm-hmm. And talking about the clans, different have ranking systems for obviously people that can edit the clan and which ones can't, inviting, stuff like that. Interesting.
Yeah,
privacy levels of the clan contents.
So it looks like they came out and they're really trying to make this that social experience that really at this point in gaming, every online game should be. So let's get into our time in the beta. We're gonna start with the graphics. What'd you think?
It looked very clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's been a while since I played the original Division, but I remember, but it was also darker and gloomier there, where in this one it's a lot more lighter and open, you know what I mean? So during the day, everything, in Division 1, everything was at night or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
at night and snowing and,
Yeah, exactly. So I found it very refreshing. The graphics were very tight, very clean looking. The videos, obviously, the cutscenes, they were immaculate. But this general gameplay was pretty good. Down sight of your barrel, not using a scope, it was still pretty clear.
Yep. We never got high enough to really unlock some of the scopes and grips and anything, but I agree. Everything was exactly what they wanted you to see. There was no fuzz.
Yeah, and there wasn't, even in the beta here, I saw a few motion glitches, characters floating around, not really walking and stuff like that, but I didn't really see anybody glitching through walls or really big graphic errors and stuff like that, as you would in Fallout and everything else.
I did. I caught three guys walking through a door with a grenade.
Oh yeah.
And their bodies were kind of like dangling there in the door. It's kind of funny. What do we got here? Nice. Triple kill.
Running in the doorway. Bottleneck yourself. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Grenade took out 3 of them and then just the rest. That was awesome. Glitched them in the doorway. It's a beta though. You got to throw some of that stuff up to the beta, and this is Ubisoft, so they're gonna iron most of this stuff out. They got a few weeks left. I'm confident that once launch comes, it'll be smooth.
Ubisoft does tend to put out a really tight game.
Yeah. The gameplay, I didn't see much change. It's that bullet sponge mechanic, a little smoother in my opinion.
Yeah.
Your third person duck and cover, run to cover, bullet sponge. I like it though. Yeah. That's the game plays up my alley. So if you liked the Division 1, I think you're gonna like the Division 2.
Yeah, I always enjoyed the Division 1. Eventually it gets a little monotonous, the gameplay, replaying the levels, redoing the same stuff. But that's just with every game.
Once you hit endgame, yeah.
Enjoy the idea behind it, the realness of it.
When we were doing that last mission kind of deal, I really liked the layout of it. It had a varying degree of openness to the sections, which I found some of them were definitely more challenging than others. But again, if you have communication, I mean, in that last one specifically, I knew you were staying center, and I was just able to go off to the right, and we cleared the final room of this dungeon, no problem at all.
Yeah, but I'll give it a hand. Like, the AI was pretty good. It was doing its best effort to get around you. So I give it that. It wasn't just one area. It wasn't just walking their same pattern that most AI generally tend to do, right?
Right.
So.
And I feel that even the AI, it's nice you mentioned it, it's a definite improvement over Division 1. Like the kamikaze guys running in at you with a baton, like they're jacking themselves up with some kind of drug and then charging at you, but it gives them that extra boost of life. So if you don't catch it in time, they're gonna be harder to knock down. I like that. Those are the small details that really matter now, because again, how many of these types of games are there? So if you're putting in those fine details that fit the world it's in, that's a win for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Anything that pulls you into the game more and makes you more interested, right?
Yeah. The bases, you got to do the whole base build up again. again, it's just all story progression in my opinion. I like how you didn't. I like how walking into the White House and walking into the different safe houses, you didn't have to go through that slow walk period through the decontamination.
Yes, I agree.
Like,
That was always super annoying. That little load, slow walk, whatever they did for.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
But the other, to get around that movie theater hideout, it was so open. You know, the Division 1,
Yeah.
that the base was pretty well laid out and you didn't have to go searching for everything. This thing is, how many times, like, where was the vendor again? And I know after you're in there 10 times, you know, but you gotta go from the...
Does it need to be that big, is what you're saying?
Or like 4 levels.
Give me a closet and 4 booths.
Well, yeah. Look how I build my Fallout bases, right? It's just there. That's what I need. The loot, it's a looter. I mean, we know it's a looter because that's what Division 1 turned out to be. It's a stat game where...
Glad to see that you get independent loot, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's always nice.
And hey, it's shareable. Right out of the bat, this loot's shareable.
Yep.
And that's, again, they learned from the first one. How do you feel about the style of game where not the gameplay, but where the stats actually matter? Every DPS level, you sacrifice armor or crit chance and stuff like that. Do you pay a lot of attention to that, or do you just say, hey, this does a better base damage, or this has a higher DPS, and I'm just going with that regardless of perks?
Well, well, I think in the beginning, you're automatically just going for the stuff that defends you, gives you more armor, and does more DPS, you know what I mean? But after you get into that, you get into the name-branded armor stuff, you get into the end-game, or past end-game content, you know what I mean? Where it actually matters, you know, like, so you're going to be the same level, but will, like, your critical hit damage matter when you're in the PvP, you know what I mean? Will those armor attributes matter? I don't know, because that's a way that I could see that it would matter, and it would be okay. Like, sure, your guns all do the same damage level going in, but it depends on the armor perks you have that will give that an advantage. That I could totally be all right with that, because then you could select whatever armor you wanted to go in there, and that's totally up to you. You know what I mean?
I think we're going to see loadouts. There was some tabs in there, obviously beta you can't access, but I think we're going to see loadouts in this game, so you can kind of change your build on the fly.
Fast swap, nice. Yeah. That would be cool.
And again, that's, you know, a lot of the competition games, they have that now, where you don't have to take 20 minutes to respec everything. And
go back to your base and get all your other armor. Yay!
Crafting's back. I would assume it's the same grind as before. You know, you got to get all the materials to build your mods. You have to have the plans. I don't see that being any different. But again, that's part of the game. You'll have the vendors. Obviously, the high-end vendors will do their resets on it, and you'll be able to get by with what they have. And then the truly high-end stuff will just be crafted.
Right.
So to me, that makes it feel very MMO-ish. I have not heard anything yet official about an in-game auction house. Now, how do you think that would fit in with a game like this?
You know, I going back to DC Universe and stuff like that is my only real play of it. I really liked it. It gave you an option to, if you had a bunch of other stuff, you could sell it, you could buy other stuff. You know, I'm okay with that. Again, it goes right along with the same idea of having in-game chat, in-game text, stuff like that. You know,
yeah.
I think in a modern day game like this, where, you know, you're getting a lot of drops that you don't want, or you're getting you know, some other named item that you don't want, you could get rid of it to other people. It's not just going to be broken down for just scrap, you know?
If they're putting clans in, why wouldn't they put features like that in the game so that it could help each other? That's the whole point of having a clan, is to help you when you need help. I'm looking right now at that pre-order icon, and the pre-order is still going on, so I think I'm going to.
What's tell us now? What's the pre-order deal here? What do you get?
Ooh, okay. So if you pre-order the Division 2 on any platform, you get the Capital Defender Pack, which includes the Lullaby Exotic SPAS 12 shotgun and the Hazmat 2.0 outfit. I don't see myself ever really going for a premium level edition of a game like this. I don't think that they're gonna make it so that people who spend $130 at the beginning are gonna be so much superior in game come end game.
So what are you looking at? You're looking standard edition, or are you looking gold edition?
No, I'll be standard edition.
Standard edition. You don't want the 3-day early access and the 1-year pass automatically?
Oh well, okay. So if the 1-year pass is included and it comes in at $130 or less, I'd be looking into that more. At this point, I haven't actually dived down into it. It's beta weekend. This is the first real endeavor into it, and you know, I was sitting on the fence, and I said to myself, before I pre-order, I'm going to do beta, and I'm glad I played the beta because I'm going to definitely pre-order. How about yourself?
Will I be getting it? I don't know. I'm still on the fence. You know what I mean? So will I be pre-ordering? I don't know.
And that was Division 2 beta weekend for us here at Geeks of the Round Table. Let us know in the comments below. Are you going to be pre-ordering this game? Are you going to wait and see how it goes? Give it a couple months. Were you in on the beta? What'd you think of the beta? Let us know in the comments. Thanks again for watching. For Justin, this is Jeremy, and this is Geeks of the Round Table.